Good evening. I'd like to call to order the August 2nd meeting of the Stillwater Planning Commission. Item 2 will be our PZ-16-2108, requesting review and approval of a map amendment of the property address 2306 North Washington to rezone from current office and commercial shopping to commercial general.
Evening, I'm Mike Beatty, Development Review Manager. Make sure this gets pulled up here. There we go. This site is located at the corner of Washington and Lakeview. It's currently zoned CS and office. It's a photo looking from the south to the north at the vacant tract. You can see sidewalk already existing on Lakeview. There's nothing on Washington right now, but that'll be a requirement when it develops. The proposed rezoning is compatible with the comprehensive plan, and the planned use of a car wash is consistent with the proposed CG zoning.
Any questions for Mike? We'll go ahead at this time and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this, please step to the microphone and say your name and address, please. Seeing none, anyone who wishes to stand and speak against this item, please stand and come forward, please. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call for staff's alternative.
All right, alternatives. You can accept the findings and recommend approval. You can not accept the findings and deny it, or you can request additional information and table the request.
Anyone have any comments? Any questions?
I was just wondering, what type, is it a drive-through car wash? Is it just a spray thing? What are we talking about that the use would be for this space? Do we know anything about that?
Well, it just says car wash. I don't know that, since it's a rezoning, it could be anything. They could rezone it and change it tomorrow. So I think there's several things it can be. It could be arts and entertainment, it could be a bed and breakfast, churches, financial institutions, food services. There's a broad,
Anything you got?
a lot of different things. I don't know that for the rezoning purposes, what they're proposing right now really, it does fit. So they need the rezoning to be able to do that. But if you rezone it, they could say, I'm going to put in something else tomorrow. So,
Well, I'll make a motion to accept findings and recommend that the city council approve the proposed map amendment as presented.
Second?
Vote. And that passes 5-0. Move on to item B, the Wesley Foundation, Oklahoma State University, form-based code alternative compliance and warrant PZ-16-2109, requesting review and approval of alternative compliance and warrant for parking spaces, table 7, signage, awning material, frontage build-out at property address 823 West University Avenue.
Mike Beatty again. Let me get here. This is in the form-based code area. It's in the T6 zoning. It's the existing Wesley Center, which is the corner of Washington and University. Oop, wrong way. There we go. This is a rendering looking from the northwest to the southeast. Right at the corner. The alternative compliance, TZ zoning requires awning material and has a principal setback, building setback requirement, and we're requesting, they're requesting alternative compliance on those issues. The awning material, the code requirement is for canvas, cloth, or polyester. What they've proposed is glass material. If you look at the rendering here, the awning is up front here, and you can see with this awning, the steel substructure or superstructure will be exposed as opposed to an awning that would have canvas or some type of material covering that. Regarding the principal building setback, the frontage build-out requires 80% of the building face at the building setback line. The setback range requirement is from 0 to 10 feet from the right-of-way line. In this instance, both frontages on Washington and University only have 17% in contact with that building setback line. Sorry. There we go. If you look at the top line here is the right-of-way of University, and University is considered the principal roadway here. The blue outline is the outline of the building footprint, and you can see that the two towers on each end are located about 5 foot off of the right-of-way of University, but the remainder of the building is more than 10 feet back from that, so only 17% is within that first layer required by the form-based codes. If you look at, this is looking to the east down University. You can see the existing Wesley Center here, but you can kind of see the corridor that we're intending to develop with the form-based codes. This is looking southward down Washington, and the site is here on the left. Warrants. The request before you is to consider parking location, the number of parking spaces, and signs. Parking location, the code requires that the parking be located in the third layer from the principal frontage, or 25 feet. What has been proposed is that parking is in the second layer, only 11 feet back. If you look here, the red line is the right-of-way, and then the blue line, or the lighter blue, and I hope it's the right color, I'm colorblind, but the lighter blue here is the initial building setback, the 10-foot max. And then if you notice, they've started the parking at the 10-foot back as opposed to the third layer. Now, the third layer should be, in this case, 25-foot back. And so, which is the dark blue line, or I guess that's purple, is where the parking should start. They propose starting at about 11 feet closer in. Number of parking spaces. Parking for the civic uses must be set by the Planning Commission. What they've proposed is 27 spaces. Using mixed-use calculations from our existing parking code, there's an estimated requirement for 113 spaces. Giving credit for existing parking on site, they would need to provide 112 spaces if we followed the traditional zoning plan. There is additional parking available at the OSU garage, a building with the PAC Center, and then also across the street at the Student Union parking facility. Just showing the site layout with the 27 parking spaces along the back of the building. Signs. There are 6 signs proposed, 2 band signs, which are allowed in form-based code, 1 nameplate sign, which is also allowed, and then also 3 logo signs. The issue with the warrant here is that there is no sign category for logo signs in the form-based code. Here's a rendering. Apologize, when we blew up the rendering, it got really fuzzy, but you can see the band sign at the top with the Wesley Foundation, and then down at the bottom, Cornerstone. Those are the 2 band signs on the entry. And then along the patio elevated wall there, it says the Wesley Foundation. That's the 3rd band sign. The symbols, or the logos, are the United Methodist Church with the flag or flame there on each side of the entryway. Again, the rendering kind of got faded when they blew it up. On the right, you can see a little bit clearer picture of the logo sign. It'll be on 3 spots on the building, 2 on each side of the entry, and then on the elevator tower on the east side of the building. Findings. For alternative compliance, canvas, cloth, or polyester awnings are required. Glass is proposed with the proposed development. Setback is to be 0 to 10 feet, with 80% of the building frontage being within that setback. What is proposed is that only 17% of the building frontage is within the required setback. With the warrants, parking is required in the 3rd layer. With this proposal, it's only provided in the 2nd layer. It's advanced into the 2nd layer. If you have parking in the 2nd layer, the code does require screening to be provided. You have quite a number of parking spaces required for the civic use of the site, 113. Only 10% or 10 parking spaces are required for the residential use of the building. There is additional public parking, and then with the logo signs, we don't really have a category, so the warrant of whether or not to accept it is up to you. Any questions? That was a lot of material.
Questions for staff? All right, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item, go ahead and step forward and say your name and address, please.
Hi, I'm John Oleg. I'm the architect on the project. My address is 4632 South 181st East Avenue in Tulsa. They pretty much summed up what we're trying to go for. It's replacing that existing 1950s or older building with a brand new 3-story facility. So you've seen the renderings, and that's really, I just want to know if you have any questions for me.
Question? Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone else wish to speak in favor? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call anyone who wishes to speak against this item. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for staff alternative.
Alternatives. You can accept all of the findings and approve everything together and set the number of required parking spaces. You can deny the request and still determine the number of parking spaces. You can determine that more information is needed and table the request, or you can look at each alternative compliance item in each warrant and act on them separately, and then you still got to determine what's the acceptable number of parking spaces.
How many parking spaces are in their current plan?
27.
You said 10 would be required for the
For the residential use.
part of the
Yeah.
facility.
Yeah, on the upper floor, they're proposing a small dormitory area for staff and maybe renting out to some students, but they'd only require 10. The biggest demand is for the civic meeting type use of the facility.
Just my thought, obviously with the location adjacent to the university, I think we're gonna see a lot of, foot traffic and as well as bicycle traffic. So I don't have a big heartburn with the limited amount of spaces.
And even if they have events that don't have a lot of foot traffic, we've got the student union parking garage, which has over 400 public parking spaces, and the PAC parking garage that's going to have slightly over 100. So that's 500 parking spaces within a short walk of this area. So even if they have an event that happens to be not with a lot of students, I think that this fits well in this area.
And I think most of the events will be a lot of students.
Yes.
It's mostly at University Ministries.
Anyone care to try to craft a motion?
I move to accept findings and approve the proposed alternative compliance and warrant as presented and determine the number and location of parking spaces is 27.
Second.
Go ahead and take a vote. Passes 5-0. Okay. Number 5, miscellaneous items from staff and discussion of possible action. Next planning commission meeting scheduled for August 16, 2016. And with that, we'll,
Meeting, minutes.
oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I guess we better approve those minutes. Let's do this again. Approval of the meeting summary and discussion for possible action. The approval of regular meeting summary, July 5th, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Take a vote. Passes 4 yes, 1 abstain.
I wasn't here.
Under Robert's Rule of Order, even though you're not here, you can vote yes. Is that correct? Because I was not here and I voted yes. Yes. Just making sure I followed the law by voting yes.
All righty, number 5, miscellaneous items from staff for discussion and possible action of the next planning commission meeting, August 16, 2016. And with that, chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
And that passes as well. We are adjourned.